One-shot snipers are back in Warzone 2, and you guys are excited to use them, but which sniper is the best out of the 3 one-shot snipers? Is it the VICTUS, MCPR, or IMPERIUM, aka the Intervention? The answer is going to come down to 3 stats that are far and away the most important: fire rate, bullet velocity, and aim down sight speed. I'm going to be going over all 3 of these stats and tell you which one is the best for each playstyle, and give you the best class setup for all 3. Let's start off with fire rate, where the IMPERIUM will be the best at 44 rounds per minute to 41 on the MCPR and 36 on the VICTUS. This may not seem like much of a difference, but the Intervention is actually going to be over 20% faster fire rate than the VICTUS, which is very noticeable while you're using them. The faster fire rate makes it more forgiving to use if you miss a shot, and much more likely to be able to cap someone you knocked with your sniper. And on top of this, the Intervention actually has an attachment that will raise its fire rate to 50 rounds per minute, which is a huge 14% increase. The MCPR is still solid here at 41, but the 50 rounds per minute is a big advantage. And for the bullet velocity, they're all going to have the same base bullet velocity at 780 meters per second, but after attachments they're all going to be different. Some maxed out bullet velocities can be more maxed out. First, you have to use the explosive ammo to be able to get the one-shot headshots, and that's going to kill your bullet velocity on all of them down to 468 meters per second, which is horrible. And after the attachments, the IMPERIUM has 711 meters per second, the MCPR will be at 687, and the VICTUS at 640 meters per second. And these are all very rough for long-range weapons, where you want the bullet velocity to be at least 1,000 meters per second. And I'm going to let you know, you're going to be noticing this bullet drop off. Another thing that makes these more difficult to use is that you actually are not going to be able to track your sniper bullet, because with the explosive ammo, it makes the bullet basically dissipate in the air and you can't track it all the way to your target. So it will take some adjusting to be able to start hitting consistent headshots at range, and these are definitely very difficult to use in comparison to Warzone 1 snipers, because you have way more flinch and worse bullet velocity. Finally, we're going to be looking at the ADS speed, where the Intervention has the best base aim down sight speed, but the MCPR will have the best after attachment, and that's going to be because of its huge advantage over the other 2, where it actually has 10 bullets in its base magazine, where the other 2 only have 5 rounds. This gives the MCPR a mag attachment for a 5-round mag, where the other 2 only have options to increase their magazine size, and the 5-round mag attachment on the MCPR will give you far greater movement benefits than any grip, laser, or stock, making it have the best aim down sight speed. And if we look at the base ADS for the Intervention and VICTUS, they're going to be at 580 milliseconds and 625 respectively. And then the MCPR, after you put on the 5-round magazine, it's going to be at 533 milliseconds. And after all the attachments, the MCPR will have an aim down sight speed 81 milliseconds faster than the Intervention, which is very noticeable. Those are the big 3 categories you need to have to make a decision on which sniper you want to use. And I think it's clear that the VICTUS is far and away the worst, as it is the 3rd best out of the 3 in every single category. And after that, I believe it depends on what map you're playing. For Al-Mazrah, I think the Intervention is the best because of the bullet velocity, fire rate, and base optic having 8.5 times zoom compared to the MCPR's 5.6 times zoom. And of course, the bullet velocity is still going to feel low on this weapon at 711 meters per second, but it does feel a little bit better than the 687 at long range for the MCPR. But when we go over to Ashika Island, the MCPR is going to be better because the bullet velocity isn't as big of a deal here, and then the faster aim down sight speed will be a huge help in slightly closer range sniper engagements. And finally, if you can't consistently hit your headshots with these snipers because the bullet velocity is so low, then they aren't worth using over the Signal 50. And yes, it does take 2 chest shots or above to knock someone, but it has 111 rounds per minute on the fire rate, which is more than twice as fast as the Intervention and almost 3 times as fast as the MCPR. It will also have better bullet velocity because we can use high velocity ammo instead of the explosive ammo, making it much easier to hit your shots at long range. And it's also going to have a faster aim down sight speed than the Intervention. The Signal 50 will actually be better for a large group of the player base, but they won't use it because it can't one-shot headshot. But I had to make this video to push that point out to you so I can help you improve at Warzone 2. That's my only goal for making these videos, is to help you guys out. So I'm going to be giving you the 3 best class setups, but I'm going to be doing the Signal 50 instead of the VICTUS. And really quickly, if this video has been helpful, please make sure to like the video. It helps me out tremendously, and make sure to subscribe if you want some more Warzone 2 tips and class setups, as well as Call of Duty content. First up, the IMPERIUM for Al-Mazrah. So we're going to start with the nil sound muzzle, which is going to be very familiar on all these sniper class setups because it gives us bullet velocity, damage range, and recoil smoothness. And for the tuning, I'm going to go towards ADS speed at -0.99 and then bullet velocity at 0.74, because as I said, I already went over, those are 2 of the 3 three biggest stats on sniper rifles. Then we're going to use this Fahrenheit 29-inch barrel, which there's a funny fact, this other 29-inch barrel gives you the same amount of bullet velocity, but it hurts your ADS speed far more than this Fahrenheit 29-inch. So that's why we're using this one. And for the tuning, we're going to go towards aim walking speed, because on this one, the recoil stance doesn't matter. It's a bolt action rifle. There's really not much recoil to contend with. Then we're going to go all the way to ADS speed, because the damage range doesn't really matter. You're going for a headshot. It's going to down them in any single range on this sniper, so get the ADS as good as possible. Then, of course, we're going to be using the explosive ammo. This is what allows us to get the one-shot kills to the head. And then for the tuning, we're going to go towards bullet velocity all the way, because once again, recoil steadiness does not matter. It's aiming idle stability, not recoil. That's what you would need to fix. Then for the left side, I'm actually not going to touch the left because the damage range and recoil smoothness, neither one of them matters. Next up, we're going to go with this VLK LZR 7MW laser because it gives us ADS speed and aiming stability, two huge keys on a sniper rifle. And I don't tune this one because on the left side, sprint to fire speed, we're not really going to be trying to rush up with it, and aim walking steadiness, we don't want to hurt the strafe speed of this weapon. And then on the bottom, aiming idle stability, ADS are both too important to hurt one of them to help the other. And the last attachment is one of the most important on this gun, the FJX Blast Bolt. This says it gives us rechambering speed, but what it does is give us 6 rounds per minute faster on the fire rate, which makes this weapon a lot more forgiving, and one of the reasons it's really nice to use on Al Masra. Now we're going to go to the MCPR, which I prefer to use on Ashika Island, but it still works great on Al Masra with this build. So we're going to do the nil sound barrel, like I said, is going to be very familiar on all the sniper rifles, and we're going to tune it all the way to ADS speed, and then we're going to tune it at plus 0.39 towards bullet velocity. And then we're going to go with this 22 OMX barrel, because this is what gives us our best bullet velocity, is pairing that with the nil sound. And then for the tuning, we're going to go all the way to aim walking speed and all the way to ADS speed, because once again, damage range doesn't matter and recoil steadiness doesn't matter, because one, it's a bolt action, and two, because it's going to one-shot headshot no matter what range or damage it's doing on the rest of the body. Then we're going to go with this Corio Las laser, which gives us ADS speed, a huge help there, and then it's going to give us aiming stability, which is very nice so the weapon sways a little bit less even when you're not holding your breath. Next up, we're going to use this explosive ammo once again to get the one-shot headshots, and then for the tuning, we're going to go all the way to bullet velocity, and I did go to damage range on this one because literally recoil smoothness is completely useless on a bolt action sniper rifle. And then finally, we go with this 5-round mag, and as you see, movement speed, ADS speed, sprint to fire speed, and reload quickness. This actually will make it the fastest reloading sniper. It's going to make it the best movement speed sniper, as well as sprint to fire and ADS. So that 5-round mag is key on all MCPR setups. And then I just want to show one fun class setup really quickly for the MCPR on Ashika. This is like the movement king sniper rifle if you really want to be going around quick scoping, because every attachment is geared towards that. Now the bullet velocity is only going to be like 470 meters per second, so this is like one where you're trying to keep your sniper fights inside of 50 meters, but the aim down sight speed and the movement on this thing is crazy. So we got the 5-round mag again, we got the laser again, but where we switch up the muzzle and the barrel, we use this FSS Merc stock, which is sprint speed, ADS, and crouch movement speed, and we use this Cronin cheetah grip, which is sprint to fire speed and ADS speed. This thing is going to have you zooming around the map. It's actually really fun to use. Last is the Signal 50 best class setup, and this is for the people who can't consistently hit headshots with the low bullet velocities. This one will be at around 1,000 meters per second, and I'm not even going to use the barrel to help out the bullet velocity. And that's because we're going to be trying to control the recoil on this thing, because the 111 rounds per minute makes it so you can actually shoot this gun really quickly, and the recoil does come into play. And so we're going to start with the nil sound 90 silencer, because this is what we use on all snipers, no matter which gun it is. And for the tuning, I'm going to go towards ADS speed at negative 0.77, and I don't go all the way down because recoil does matter a little bit on the Signal 50. And then we go towards bullet velocity at plus 0.52. And then I'm going to use this FSS Sharkfin underbarrel because it helps with aiming idle stability while giving us no cons, and this actually really helps out the weapon, and I do not tune this. And then we're going to go with the high velocity ammunition. This is going to help you guys hit your shots at long range tremendously. And then for this one, I go all the way over to bullet velocity and all the way over to damage range. You are going to be hitting more chest shots with it, and you do want to get that extra damage out to farther ranges. Then we're going to go with this Corio Las laser, which is just going to be some ADS speed and aiming stability, as you probably remember from the other class setups. Very useful and a very good attachment. Finally, I'm going to go with this FSS Echo stock, and if you remember what I said, I am trying to help out the recoil on this weapon, and that is what this stock does, as well as giving us aiming stability. Basically, when you shoot this gun so quickly, it does kick up, and this is just going to make it kick up a little bit less, which allows you to recenter your shot and get on target quicker. And this is really good for getting caps on people, because you can shoot the gun so quickly that they're not going to be able to crawl around a corner after you get them down. So for the tuning on this weapon, we go all the way to ADS speed and then all the way to aiming idle stability. And this sniper is really good to use for anyone who's average skill level or below. Honestly, even for myself, sometimes I feel feel like I'd do better if I was using the Signal 50. It's just the illustrious one-shot headshot that everyone's chasing after, but trust me, give this thing a shot if you're not doing well with the other two snipers. Make sure to let me know in the comments how you're enjoying these class setups, and then also, if you want to know what weapon to pair with these snipers, I actually have the top 5 sniper support video linked right here on screen. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.